Welcome guys to my PlayStation 3 video game collection. I'll be showing you my video games I have for my PS3 as well as the console itself. So right here, as you can see, I have my PS3. I bought it in 29. Unfortunately, it does not any longer work. It had the yellow light of death, so it's pretty much dead. I got the yellow light of death in 2014 and yeah, now I really cannot play it anymore because the console is pretty much dead. When you get the yellow light of death, it pretty much becomes dead. So as you can see, I have the fat model. This is the 8GB model. This is when they dropped the PlayStation 2 support. But I really like this model. This is my favorite model actually. This is in fact my favorite console design ever made. I really love how the console looks. I think it looks very awesome. Yes, it's a little bit heavy and fat, but it's very cool looking. It's very futuristic. I really enjoyed the PlayStation 3 title right here as well. So when I bought this in 29, I bought it in 29. I think it was like 1 or 2 months before the Slim came out. But yeah, it was a little bit bad timing really, because the Slim improved a lot, especially in terms of storage, because this one only has 8 gigs. That's very low. But yeah, I still have the console, as you can see. Like I said, it got the yellow light of death, so I cannot play it anymore, but oh well, I still cherish it. I still cherish it to this day, so still a very awesome console. I love this generation of consoles, the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I really love this generation of consoles. And so yeah, now I'll be showing you my video games which I have for the system. I also had some digital games in here as well, which were Infamous and Wipeout. Infamous, an exclusive game for the PlayStation. It started on the PS3. Very good game. I really enjoyed that game. I also borrowed from a friend of mine the second one. The first one was very good game, a very awesome game, very nice. I really enjoyed the character Cole. I really enjoyed the story as well. Very awesome gameplay, very good. And so yeah, one of the best exclusives the system had. I really enjoyed it, as well as the second. The second one was also very good as well, but the first one really made that first impact, and I really enjoyed it. Then Wipeout HD. That was a racing game. That's a racing game. You play with this futuristic ship-like vehicles. Very awesome game as well. Very hard also. Actually very hard to platinum. I did platinum the game, but it was very hard. Very hard game, but very good as well. Very awesome game. I really enjoyed it. The soundtrack was also very nice as well. And yeah, overall a very enjoyable game. One of my favorite racing franchises. And I spent a lot of hours trying to platinum it and getting all the trophies, and so a very nice game indeed. Now we're gonna get into the physical games I have, but first I'm gonna show you just some of the demos I have. I have some demos as well. This came from some magazines at the time. I bought some magazines at the time, and they came with these demos. So here we have the first one. 16 demos. Yeah. It's got Mirror's Edge, Tom Clancy's End War, Pro Evolution Soccer 29, MotoGP 08, GTI Club Plus. Yeah, it's basically just some demos. Here we have some more as well. This one's got Metal Gear Solid 4, which is an awesome game, and the demo is actually I remember back in the day. I used to play the demo all the time. It was actually very long, actually, the demo, and it was so enjoyable. I used to play that game so much at the time. I never actually owned the game, but I did play the demo a lot. It's also got Alone in the Dark, Inferno, Pro Evolution Soccer 29, Lego Batman the video game, and Bioshock. Bioshock, a very good game as well. Then here we have some more as well, 25 in this one. This one's got, some of them are NBA Live 09, Facebreaker, Guitar Hero World Tour, Pure, Mercenary World in Flames. Not really though that great, those games, but oh well. And here we have the final one, which has got 29 demos. This one's got Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. Not really, it's a good game. Not one of my favorites in the franchise, but in terms of graphics and soundtrack, it's very good. It's got Civilization Revolution, Top Spin 3, 1942 Joint Strike, and Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm is a very good franchise of fighting games of the Naruto series. They started in the PS3 here, I believe, and they went all the way to the 4, and then there was also Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, I believe. Yeah, overall a very nice game. I played with some friends as well. Very enjoyable games. But now let's go on with the real games now. Starting off with God of War 3. This is the collector's edition. This comes with some cards as well as a bonus CD, which I believe is a making of. I'm not sure. This game, God of War 3, I remember back in 2010. This came out in 2010. I remember back in the day being so excited for this game. The second one left in a cliffhanger. Everybody was excited for this game. Everybody was waiting for this game to see Kratos finally getting his revenge. This game, I love this game. I love God of War 3. I loved it. In my opinion, it was not as good as the second one, but still a very enjoyable game. In terms of graphics, it's one of the best looking games the PS3 had, right up there with Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us. Kratos is, in my opinion, the most detailed character in gaming. In this game he was so detailed, so very detailed. The graphics, like I said, were amazing. Back in the day, when this game released in 2010, it was the best looking game ever made, arguably. This game, one of the things I don't like about this game is actually the story. The story was a little bit uneven. I don't really enjoy the story that much. I think it was a little bit too rushed. It was basically just Kratos killing all the gods, and some of the parts were a little bit rushed. And like I said, I didn't enjoy it as much as the second one. I think it was a little bit better than the first one. That's debatable. It had some good parts, very enjoyable parts. The gameplay was very good as well. They added a lot of good stuff, a lot of good things, new things as well. But like I said, the story was not as good as the second one, for example. But still an enjoyable game, still a very good game. If you're a fan of God of War, I highly recommend this. An awesome game. The ending left it in a cliffhanger. The ending, yeah. But the final part, when you fight against Zeus and you kill him to death, the screen goes all gory. You get this screen all bloody. I mean, just an awesome game. Then we have God of War Collection. This includes the first and the second game of the franchise, God of War 1 and God of War 2. This one, I really love these games. Really awesome games. The first one is still my favorite in terms of puzzles. The first one still has the best puzzles in my opinion. Also has some very good designs as well. It's still the one that focuses more on like Greek mythology. Not as good as the second one in terms of length and gameplay. It's the shortest one of all the three, but like I said, it still has the best puzzles and has some very good scenarios as well, some very good designs as well. The second one, that is my favorite one. Like I was saying, the second one is my favorite. It's also the longest. It also has the most bosses as well. A huge variety of enemies, very awesome gameplay, lots of weapons, lots of good things to do. and it still is my favorite one. The second one is still my favorite one, and that opening sequence when where you fight against Colossus is amazing. Okay, you fight against Colossus. The first one is good as well. You fight against a Hydra. You fight against the Hydra, and that is something all the God of War series games do every time. Is they always have these awesome huge bosses at the start. And so yeah, God of War 1 and 2, awesome games. These are some of my favorite action games ever made, and I really love the God of War series. If you love Greek mythology like me, I really love Greek mythology, and if you enjoy that stuff, I really recommend these games. Then we have another exclusive for the system. This is Little Big Planet. My god, I love this game. I remember back in the day playing this game with friends online. I remember meeting making so many friends online in the network, in the PlayStation Network, making so many friends with this game. This is an awesome game, They also made a second one and the third one. The second one I never owned, and the third one as well. I never owned the third one. I only owned the first one. The second one was better. But the third one, I don't think it was that good actually. But the second one was better than this one. But this is still a very awesome game. This is a very awesome game. Like I said, this is a really enjoyable franchise. I really enjoyed this game. I made a lot of friends online with this because of this game. This was one of the best exclusives for the system as well. In terms of being unique, this is a very unique game. I really enjoyed this game. You control Sackboy. It's a very awesome game. Very awesome game. At the time when it released in 2008, it was very different from all the rest. And you might think this is more centered to children and stuff like that. No, it's not. This is a very awesome game. Anybody of any age will enjoy this game. It's a very awesome game, and I really enjoyed it. Little Big Planet, awesome game. Awesome game. It's if you enjoy creating stuff, creating levels and stuff like that, this is an awesome game and very enjoyable. Then we have Killzone 3. This was the last of the Killzone games for the main storyline. They also released the Killzone Shadowfall. Not really it's basically the fourth one, not really Killzone 4. It's supposed to be the fourth one, but in terms of numbering, this was the last one. This is a very nice game. I never actually owned the second one. I did play the demo of the second one. Never played the first one. But this game, a very awesome first-person shooter. I really enjoyed this game. It's got some problems here and there, but overall the story and the gameplay, very awesome. I really enjoyed the fact that they added melee brutality kills. Really awesome game. The graphics as well, very awesome graphics. The gameplay, very nice. And yeah, overall a very nice first-person shooter. One of the best in the system. I really enjoyed the Killzone franchise. Also got multiplayer. I remember playing the multiplayer as well a lot. Playing a lot of the multiplayer as well. Getting a lot of good times in this. And so yeah, very awesome game. Very awesome first-person shooter. If you enjoy the Killzone franchise, this is an awesome entry. Then we have right here a very this was a new franchise at the time, and it still is one of my favorite franchises ever made. I really enjoy this franchise. It's Darksiders. This released in 2010. I remember back in the day being so excited for this game. This released in January of 2010. I remember being so excited for this game. I actually bought it at the time it released, actually somewhere around that time. This is an awesome game. This is basically, if you combine God of War and Legend of Zelda, Devil May Cry, if you combine all of that in one game, you get this. You get Darksiders. This is a very nice game. Some people like IGN gave it rave reviews. I don't know why. In my opinion, this is a 9 out of 10. Bare minimum. This is an awesome game. Awesome game. If you enjoy God of War, Devil May Cry, you're gonna enjoy this game. This is a very awesome game. The graphics are not as impressive as God of War, for example, but the gameplay sure makes up for it. The gameplay is awesome. This is a very long game, It took me at the time 18 hours to finish it, which is saying a lot because games like this usually don't last that long. This is a very long game. The gameplay is very awesome. You have a lot of stuff to do. It's got a very nice replay value as well. The bosses are also very nice as well. You face a lot of big bosses. The mythology as well. It's based on like heaven and hell mythology. You face angels, you face archangels, you face demons. It's a very awesome game. You play as War, which is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. They also made the second one, Darksiders 2, which released in 2012. Then they went in a hiatus because I believe the studio had some problems. I don't remember now. They released last year in 2018. They released the third one where you play as Fury. In the second one you play as Death. I hope they release the fourth one, and you're probably gonna play as Strife, which is the horseman which uses some pistols. Yeah, like I was saying, a very awesome game. I really recommend it. If you're into action games, I highly recommend Darksiders and overall the Darksiders franchise as well. Then right here we have Resident Evil 5. This game, it's got some mixed reviews, and I know why. The way they made this game, it's not as much horror anymore. It's more like third person action game, which is understandable. But people fail to realize that the fourth one, Resident Evil 4, was the one that started this type of perspective, and this one, Resident Evil 5, only further went ahead with that style. And then we had 6 as well, which I really hate. I hated 6. I hated the sixth one. But this one, the fifth one, I mean, it's not like the first 3 games, but so was not fourth. The fourth one was not really like the first games. The fourth one was actually very good as well, but it's just like this one. It's more of a third-person action game. But I really enjoyed this game. I remember back in the day playing this all the time in the Mercenaries mode. I say it, and I'll say it again, I really enjoy this game. I think this is a very nice game. Even though it's not as horror as the first ones, it's still a very awesome action game. The major negative point I have about this game is that you don't play as solo. You play as Chris, and then you have Sheva backing you up. I never liked that. I never liked the cooperative part of this. In the beta stages and the alpha stages, you were supposed to play as Chris only, and you were gonna fight some enemies who never made the cut as well. I really hate the fact that they scrapped that. If they had made this game with Chris only, it would have been so much better. But oh well, like they did with the fourth one where you play as Leon only. If they made that, I think this game would have gotten better reviews. Sheva, the AI is horrible. I really hate Sheva. But it's a very nice game for what it is. You get to fight Wesker as well. And if you enjoy the Resident Evil series, then I recommend this game, even though it's not as much horror. It doesn't have as much horror as the first ones, especially this one. This one does not really have that much horror. The only real horror part is when you fight the Lickers, because the music is creepy, and the Lickers they can spot you if you make noise. That's the only real horror part of this game. All the rest is mostly action, but still a very nice game. Then we have Grand Theft Auto 4. This is a very awesome game. Still, in my opinion, this is still the best game in the series in terms of being revolutionary. When this released back in 2008, the physics and the graphics, they were over the top, especially the graphics, the physics, should I say. Still to this day, this still to this day as one of the best physics in the franchise. I still think this has better physics than Grand Theft Auto 5. The problem with this game is that they focus too much on realism, and they took out a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can do in this game. They took out a lot of armored vehicles, for example. There's a lot of stuff you can do as well, which you called in GTA San Andreas, for example. But in terms of story, this is one of the best games in the franchise in terms of story. The main character, Nico Bellic, is still my favorite character in the franchise. I really love Nico Bellic. And like I was saying, the story is very awesome. The story is very nice. The narrative is very well done. There's a lot of good missions as well. Very memorable missions. I remember one of them, one of the biggest ones, and one of my favorites being the one where you rob the Liberty City Bank. That's a very big mission and a very awesome mission as well. Very memorable. Yeah, this game, I really enjoyed this game. Yes, it's got some limitations which were addressed in the DLCs, in the Ballad of Gay Tony and the other one, which I don't remember the name now. I'll post the name. I don't remember the name. But yeah, this game still one of my favorites in the franchise. I still think, like I was saying, I still think this has better physics than GTA 5. And in terms of realism, this is still one of the most realistic games ever made, in my opinion. So a very nice game, even though they limited a lot of stuff. Then right here we have you could say a clone. I don't think it's really a clone. It's a little bit like the GTA series, but it's got its own charm to it, which is Saints Row 2. This is more of a gangster-like GTA, sort of like GTA San Andreas was. I really enjoy this game. The only real negative I have with this game is that they never added trophy support. This game has a lot of replay value and a lot of stuff you can do. And I remember back in the day, this never had a firmware update. They could have easily added a firmware update and added trophy support, because I believe this game with trophies would have been way better. I remember back in the day, I used to be, and I still would be if my system was functioning. I was a trophy hunter, and I really enjoyed platinuming games, and I would only, like when I borrowed games from friends, for example, I would only return them when I got all the trophies. And this game not having trophies was a real letdown for me. A very nice game, but like I was saying, it didn't have trophy support, so there was not really much I could do to it once I finished the story because of not having trophy support. Like I was saying, this is like the GTA series, but it's more gangster-like. The graphics are not really that good. The graphics are very bad for the PS3 game. But in terms of fun, this is a very fun game, and that's what differentiates this from the GTA series. Is that this game doesn't try to be realistic. It tries to be the most fun it can. In my opinion, this is the best one in the franchise. The first one, Saints Row 1, your character can even talk. I don't really enjoy the third one. I never actually played the third one, neither the fourth one, but the third one tried too much to be too over the top and too comedic, and I think that really killed it off. And in the fourth one, you're basically a superhero, so yeah, go figure. This is still my favorite one in the franchise. It's still realistic while still being very comedic and funny. The third one pushed it a little too far in terms of comedy and trying to be too hardcore in terms of fun. So yeah, Saints Row 2, very nice game. Then right here we have Spider-Man Web of Shadows. The only reason I bought this game at the time was really because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. This game is actually not that bad. It's not really that great, I would say, but it's not that bad. If you're a Spider-Man fan like me, you're gonna enjoy this game. The best thing about this game really was the gameplay, the combat. I believe this was the first game to really implement dynamic combat for Spider-Man. In this game, the gameplay in this game, Spider-Man, you can do a lot of good combat combos. They really improve the webbing as well. The gameplay with the webbing, you can do a lot of good combos with this game. Like I was saying, this was the first game, I believe, to implement a real dynamic combat, and that was really the main selling point of this game. The story is not really that great. You fight Venom in the end. Pretty generic story. Very not really that great. One of the best things about this game, aside from the gameplay, are the bosses. Some of the bosses, like you fight Wolverine, for example. You fight Symbiote Wolverine, which is very awesome. I really like that design. You also fight Symbiote Black Cat as well. You also fight some enemies, some common Spider-Man villains like the Vulture and Electro. And yeah, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you're probably gonna enjoy this game. If you're not a fan of Spider-Man, you're probably not gonna enjoy this game. Like I was saying, the story is not really that great. The best thing really are the bosses and the gameplay. You also can make some decisions as well. You can do some evil decisions or good decisions. You can choose to be a good Spider-Man, or you can use the symbiote suit and be a bad Spider-Man. But some of the choices are really bad. The voice actor for this is not really that great. Spider-Man in this game sounds horrible. He sounds horrible. But yeah, overall, a decent game if you're a Spider-Man fan. If you're not, then you're probably not going to enjoy this game. And then right here we have a game which came with my PS3 at the time, which is Grand Theft Auto. I mean, not Grand Theft Auto. That one also came with my PS3, but this is Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. This is the Prologue version. This is basically a demo version, you could say, of the real game, which came out some years after this one. This one came in 27, 28, I'm not sure. The real game came in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Like I was saying, this is basically just a demo version of the real thing. It's got a very limited number of cars. The graphics are not really as great as the real thing, the real Grand Theft Auto, the real Gran Turismo 5. And yeah, I played it a little bit, but it's not. It's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really into racing games, I could say. I was never really into racing games. I played a lot of the Need for Speed series games. This one is more of a simulator type of game, which is not really my style. I prefer the Need for Speed style of games, where you play against other racers, and you can tune your car and stuff like that. You can roam the cities. That's more of my style of games. This is not really my most enjoyable type of racing games, racing simulators. But like I was saying, this is a very limited demo-like version of the real thing, and I really never enjoyed this game. Never actually got really that far. Yeah, but this was the game that came with the system, so yeah, they're right there. And to end it all off, we have a game which is very horrible. I got this game because at the time, when I shopped for a game, I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was one of these games right here. I had some discount which I could use, and so I decided to pick up this game because I never really had a game of Fantastic Four, and it's Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. As you can probably imagine, this is a very horrible game, a very bad game. At the time, I could get either this game or Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. I was so stupid for not getting Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction, which is a very much better game than this one. A very nice game, that one, Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. The reason I did not get Ratchet & Clank was because I had the third Ratchet & Clank game for the PS2, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. and because of that I decided not to get another Ratchet and Clank game. But I should have really have gotten that game, because that game is a very awesome game, and I never actually got around to playing it. I never actually played that game, and instead I got this game, which is very bad. So yeah, I was very stupid. So forgive me guys for being stupid. I should have really gotten Ratchet and Clank, but oh well. And that does it for my collection. Those were my PS3 games. Then I also had some games which I bought from friends. Some of them included Resistance 3, Uncharted 3 and 2. What more? I had a lot of games. Assassin's Creed 2 as well. I don't remember now. I'll leave here on the frame. I'll leave some of the games which I borrowed at the time from my friends. This was because PS3 games and still PS4 games are very expensive, and I decided back in the day there was a time where it was just getting a little too expensive buying games, and so I decided to stop buying games and borrowing from my friends. And one of the main reasons for that was to platinum the games, because like I was saying, I was a trophy hunter. I really enjoyed the trophy system. That was one of the best things the PS3 added, is the trophy system. It just adds a lot of replay value and more stuff to do. And it's for me the leaderboards and stuff. I was not really that far. I had like I believe I had like 30 platinums or something along those lines. And the trophies, I really enjoyed platinuming games, and I would borrow games from my friends and only return them when I got all the trophies. And so this way I would not only get more trophies, but I would also enjoy more games without spending lots of money, because PS3 games, like I was saying, were very expensive, and so I decided to stop buying them and borrowing from my friends. So yeah guys, that was my PS3 video game collection. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry for my articulation problems. I tried not to make this video too long. The video had to be, it's a little bit long, I know, but it had to be a little bit long to be able to show everything here. So some closing words. The PS3 system, it's still one of my favorite systems in the PlayStation lineup. Probably my favorite one. I remember making a lot of friends online with this system, and a lot of good games which are also now in the PS4 started their lineup in this system as well, like the Uncharted games, the Resistance games. They started here in the PlayStation 3 era, and yeah, this was a very nice era. A lot of good exclusives as well, and some very nice games to play. The PS3, unfortunately, I can no longer play it. I wish I could, so I could continue making some more trophies. But oh well, it's a very nice system, my PS3. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be doing a PlayStation 2 video as well, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what I do. Follow me on my social media, and yeah, catch you guys in the next video. Bye.